Okay, so I will be explaining how to make a resolution pack for Cemu, just like the ones that can be found from the official website. Anyway, I will try to make this short. So yeah, first of all, a tool that I will be using is Insight Graphics. It's a debugging tool which lets you view the individual textures and such, and so that we can target specific things that we want to upscale, because with graphic packs you don't want to upscale everything. You want to upscale a very limited amount of textures. So yeah, I will be using Cemu to test this, or to show this. Okay, so after you've installed Insight, what you want to do is boot up Insight Graphics. Yeah, then make a new project. Call it Cemu Insight or something. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, Insight. Then make a new directory. Then yeah, just store it wherever you want. Yeah, and then you want to point it to your executable of Cemu. So yeah, where is it? Yeah, so just pick like, and add to the command line arguments dash Insight, which will show some extra information. So yeah, then you can click launch and then just boot the game. You will see that it's now attached to Cemu, and you will get like an overlay. So yeah, we can already see that there are videos, so that's important to keep in mind, because we won't want to upscale those. So yeah, I hope the loading doesn't take a very long while, because it did earlier. So yeah, just chicken. Sure. You just want to get to some gameplay footage, so that you can upscale that, since we don't want to upscale the rest. So yeah, I will probably skip now to the moment where I get some video game footage or gameplay going. Okay, so now that we are in some gameplay, what we want to do is first of all not die, but what we want to do is go to Insight, then click the OK button, because that's an arrow with some versions, but it's just okay if you can click, and then click the Capture for Live Analysis button. What that will do is make a new window, the Insight Graphics Replay window, which basically shows how the frame is built from the ground up. So yeah, you can see here it tries to do some depth stuff with all the zombies and such, and then it makes the hallway and such. So yeah, that's how the basic picture is made up. But what we don't want to do is upscale things that aren't necessary, like these things, because these are just depth maps. So yeah, so that's basically the process of making graphic packs. So what we will want to do is, first of all, I want to explain a little bit how we specify each texture. So what we do is we want to know the width and the height. So at the top you can already see like the width and the height of this texture that we are currently looking at. So we want to upscale all the stuff that has to do with the gameplay. So stuff like this, these screens, and the ones that render like the stage, we all want that upscale. But we don't want to upscale the things like this, because if we upscale this, well, this is the background, I think, for your gamepad. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, we don't want to upskill some things that are like item slots or something. So yeah, so that's where texture, where we basically make rules that filter specific textures to be upskilled. And yeah, so what we want to do first is we want to go to our Cemu folder. Then what we want to do is make a new folder called I will call it Cemu, and then underscore, and then resolution. So yeah, then you make a rules.txt file, and this will basically first of all start with a header. So what we want to do is we want to basically I will just copy paste this. This is a very handy graphic pack wiki page that has basically all the stuff that you can use to do stuff and such, and has a few examples too. So yeah, but this is for Breath of the Wild, so we definitely want to change these title IDs. Basically, a title ID is the identifier for each version, so like the Japan, Europe, US versions so of the game. So what we want to do is we want to go to the title database. So yeah, this page is really handy because we can just search zombie U. So yeah, we can see a few versions. We want to make sure that we are in the eShop and disc titles section. So the things that start with this specific thing. So yeah. So if we get to the zombie U here, we can see this is the USA version, and then we want to copy this ID. So yeah. And then remove the underscore. So this is the US release. Then we'll want to go to the Europe release title ID, and then is there a so there's also a Japanese release, and then yeah. So we've got all of the title IDs now, which is great. We will change the name to resolution, and then this is like the path in your graphic packs folder. So what we want to do is zombie U. Is that correct? Yeah. So zombie U / graphics / resolution. And then it changes the graphic pack resolution, and the version is always 3 if you want to make graphic pack for Cemu 1.14.0 and higher. So yeah, then what we want to do is we want to have some presets that people can select. So what I will just do is go to the graphic pack repo, and then go to like just a basic game like the Minecraft Story Mode pack, which I just made. But yeah, it has like some default presets, because also we want to make sure we can see that a lot of the images are 720p, so the game is rendering at 720p. If you want to have presets for a 1080p game, you will want to choose a game or copy the presets from a 1080p game. But yeah, I will just assume that I will just use a 720p game. But yeah, so now that we've got the presets, users could select like all different kinds of stuff, but these won't really matter, since we need to make like texture redefined rules. So what I will do is just copy this thing from this pack. since this already filters the 720p textures with some specific formats. We will remove the formats after we've copied this. I will make this a little bit bigger, but yeah. And what we'll want to do is we want to remove the presets. But yeah, what you can see here is it basically says like, okay, so this will make like a multiplier for the resolution. So so example, if the user picks a resolution that's like 2 times higher than the native resolution, which is yeah, then it will multiply the texture by 2 times. So yeah, but what we want to do is we will want to filter in the formats. You don't really have to do this, but in some cases you will upscale stuff that you don't want to upscale. So that's why you specifically select, that's why I will be specifically selecting textures. So yeah. So what we'll want to do is we want to go to the beginning of the frame. We will already see like that we're creating a GL depth 24 stencil 8. So what this doesn't tell us what to do, because if you look closely, we had all these hex codes that but we can't fill in like the letters themselves. So, yeah. So what we want to do is we want to go to this graphic packs page and just go to this, and then just select. We want to search for D24 because the def got like shortened to a D, and the and stencil also got shortened, and this is also the case with R, which is red, and green, which is G, which is green over. But yeah, so what we want to do is we want to copy this code and then just place it in there, and then we want to search for more stuff like this. So yeah, okay, this is all the same image format as you can see above. So I'm just using a control and the right arrow to just skip through the whole to each draw thing. So yeah, okay, we see here it changes to GL R32F. Also something important to note, you can see that there's now an F, which is shortened from a float. So yeah, what we so if there isn't like an F at the end, you will want to assume that it's the unorm format. So yeah, so if it doesn't say F or I don't know, sint or something, then you will want to assume that it's a unorm. So yeah, but we want to search for a R23F. So let's just search that. And yeah, we don't want to pick the uint. We want to pick this texture code. So yeah, and then just move on. So I will probably need to do this some more. This we don't want to upscale because it's not really related to what we want to upscale, because upscaling dev comes also with its own problems. And yeah, it does this for a few different directions, but we don't need to upscale this for the game to look much better already than 720p. So yeah, okay, we see here we've got the second texture, which is RGB 10. So what's interesting is that how it's maybe noted is it's R10, G10, B10, A2. So instead of RGB 10, it's like not really, it's pretty long anyway. So we want also to copy this. It didn't have like an F, so we will assume that it's a unorm. or the first thing that comes up. So yeah, and go to the next one. So we've got this upskilled, and okay, this is all the same format as you can see. Okay, we see here we can't view this research since it's unknown for some reason, but we will probably want to upskill this too. So let's just upskill RGB8. Oh, it's here already, so we just want to upskill this too. And then, oh, my bad. Then just upskill this. So yeah. Sorry for my loud keyboard, but anyway, okay, we can see this. This we already had. This one we also upskilled already. So yeah. Oh, this one we also had. Yeah, it's doing something. Yeah, I'm not sure what, but the game, I mean, it's probably doing something really cool. But yeah, we can't really see what it's doing, but I think it's blood. So yeah, we've got some weird stuff happening here. It's probably like a blur thing. You can see, it's like, here's the red, and then it gets like blurry. But yeah, it's pretty hard to see. Anyway, so just, oh yeah, it's the blood. And yeah, so we've already upskilled this format too, I think. Yeah. And then the heart also is also drawn on this thing. So yeah, okay. We might need to upskill this for the game to work, but it doesn't really matter now. And we can also upskill the gamepad, because if you can see, these resolution, the 480 at the end is really is the gamepad, the resolution of the Wii U's gamepad. So this is probably all gamepad related, but let's just maybe, okay. So what we want to do is go to the beginning where the gamepad gets drawn. So yeah, okay, we can see already that there's some slight weird stuff happening with the height of the texture, but yeah. Anyway, so we want to go to this point, then we finish this basically, the 720p textures, but we want to copy the texture redefined just because it's easier that way. Then just want to 856 and then by 480. Make sure to also change the these lines. So yeah. Oh. Okay, so this is 84, and it's the 011 format, by the way. The depth stencil. I know that already, so I won't look it up. So, okay, so it changes resolution. So what we want to do is we want to make another texture rule for this. We'll just call this a gamepad resolution, and we could call this TV resolution. And yeah, so what we want to do is change this to 64, and the depth stays the same, but yeah, we can see, okay, so there's already the RGB10, so we want to add this one again, the RGB10. Oh, did I do that correct? Yeah, that's the correct one. So copy this one back, then just skip. Okay, so it also had the depth 24. So yeah, and then this all looks fine. Okay, we might need to upscale the smaller resolution, because they seem to be integral to the image. So let's also upscale this this quarter resolution, which is quarter of the game's resolution. So 720p. But yeah, that's what we call a quarter resolution for some reason. So one. 3, 2, 1. What you might want to do, what we might want to do is go to the next frame, because we could already see that there's some weird stuff happening with the 864 and the 8 the height of this texture. So what we want to do is make sure that textures aren't accessed in a different resolution. So what we want to do is we want to go to this frame, and we basically want to see what it has to do with this frame. So it probably that 32 by 320 texture is probably used by this frame. I'm just guessing here, but it probably has. So what we want to do is go to the API inspector, which basically shows all the information about what gets drawn here. So yeah, okay, so I don't think this really had any it doesn't draw anything with shaders. I think, since I'm pretty sure that this is all disabled, or not, maybe not, right? By the way, but yeah, you can see there's also a possibility that this 32, this texture was used to draw stuff. So I will also just upscale this texture to be sure, because I think the game is accessing textures in a different way than that. So let's just upscale this texture. It was step 24, so this is fine. So just to be sure, we upscale this. Oh, what did I do? Let's just place it under this rule. So yeah, so we've got two cloned or slightly different texture width, but yeah, that's pretty common with the new graphic pack system. So you will need to get used to that, I guess. But yeah, we can see 24, we've already got this one. 864. We're just trying to solve some stuff that we could look up later, but yeah. Okay, so this is all fine. Fine. Oh, okay, we can see a new resolution here, the RGB 8. So we want to upscale this. Oh, R8, G8. So yeah, it's this resolution again. To the, what resolution was this? So yeah, okay, what's important to see here, I think, no. So this, you don't want to upscale this, I think. But we will see if it is important, because I think this is just the window resolution, since it's a windowed version of Cemu. But yeah, so here basically the game gets flipped by Cemu, and it's not part of the game rendering. So we don't want to filter for that. But yeah, you can see we basically upscaled the gamepad and the TV. But what we'll now want to do is just just close the game again and just boot up Cemu again. Let's just use Insight, because if we need to debug something, if it doesn't work. So yeah, now you want to enable ZombieU in your graphic pack settings. Choose a preset that's of course not the native resolution, so like, and then just boot the game. And then hopefully, oh yeah, I forgot to mention something. Oh, why did it crash? Why did it crash? Oh, we did something wrong. Whoops. Yeah, so make sure not to have like a comma still lying around. So yeah, you'll want to make sure that there's not like a separate comma. So yeah. Okay. Anyway, it should boot again. Okay, so something that's kind of weird for me to see is that let's just check the log for a bit. Did it activate? Okay, we can already see stuff errors, but yeah, let's just ignore those ones for now. And just press start. And yeah, what I expect to see is that what I expected to see is that the videos wouldn't work, since I think they're not rendered in game, and I think they're videos, but we can capture. Oh yeah, forgot about the error, but yeah, just go to this. Yeah, it's clearly videos, but the videos apparently got upskilled too, so, and they still play fine, which is fine for us, of course, but sometimes if the game uses videos, you will want to add you will want to add this rule to the filter rules, which basically makes sure that the game doesn't upscale videos. So yeah, so just add this to the gamepad resolution and the 720p resolution. So basically the whole screen is made of a game. But yeah. Oh my god, I wish I could skip this. But yeah, let's just wait for me for this game to end, and then I will show that this fully works. Okay, so we're into some gameplay again. As we can see, the game does work still, and if we pause the frame with Insight, we can capture it and see that we actually succeeded. So yeah, you can see that it's now 1440p, but what we can see is that the gamepad rendering broke somewhere, since you can't see the grid anymore. See, and if we press the gamepad button, there's nothing there. So that probably has to do with, oh, let's pause the game for a bit. Yeah, we can also see that it doesn't work here. But yeah, that probably has to do with those errors that we saw in the log, the txt file. What's important if you want to show these logs is you need to enable texture cache warnings. It's pretty handy for this, but we can see a lot of errors about a mismatched texture. So if we reload it, we will also see it that it's still a that there's a lot of texture errors. So what we want to do is we just want to okay, so it says a original resolution. These two didn't match apparently, and it has to do with that this format wasn't upscaled with this one So it's not upscaled by this. So we can go back and we can see that we probably left out, yeah, as you can see, the 0.19 version, yeah, we didn't have that same texture. Let's just make it the same, but we missed it here apparently, and it got used somewhere, we don't know where, but we will want to quickly check if this fixed it just by changing this, and if we got rid of all the errors. So yeah. Okay, so we booted again into the game. Yeah, sure. Gamepad doesn't show anything yet, but let's hope it is only that for now. We can check the log.txt file. Oh, I'm afraid that something didn't go quite right, because it should have not been an error anymore. Yeah, what happened? I thought we changed it. 8, 5, 4, 8. Yeah. Oh, is it really 854? Wow, that's pretty sadistic. I mean, so yeah, make sure to check like stuff like that, because we will also need to have this, but apparently it uses 854 instead of 856 for this. So yeah, it got changed a little bit for specifically this, and that's pretty brutal. Yeah. So yeah, let's boot the game again. Hopefully the gamepad will work now. Okay, this already looks better, I think. Yeah. No, don't. We still don't have anything here, but let's reload the log. Okay, there's still errors. 854. Okay, so apparently we apparently missed all the 854 stuff. I probably looked over that, but let's just copy this whole thing, I think. Or not. Yeah, let's do that, just in case. So let's just boot up the game again, and just fix all the errors in your log. Basically, it's probably the problem with like the game. Does it have any errors now? Okay, that looks a little bit better. All these errors don't matter. That's just see me. Oh yeah. So if you can see, how long will you survive? The font obviously isn't upscaled correctly, because we can change the fonts. But we can change how the game is rendered. So anyway, I think this was it. So I will check back into the game and skip to that moment, and then if everything works, we can finish this tutorial. Okay, so we're back into gameplay now, and as we can see at any moment, we've got a fully upskilled game, and hopefully if we check the log, we also don't get any errors, or at least not any errors that are caused by us. But yeah, So this is fine. This is just Cemu errors, but no texture errors that we've got. So anyway, so that was basically how to make a graphic pack. I hope it was helpful. Just know that this process was specifically made for this game. Any other game will probably look different, but yeah, this is basically the process of doing it. So don't count on it being the exact same. So yeah, cheers.